The Hat Act by Robert Coover. In the middle of the stage, a plain table. A man enters, dressed as a magician, with black cape and black silk hat, doffs hat in wide sweep to audience, bows elegantly, applause. He displays inside of hat. It is empty. He thumps it. It is clearly empty. Places hat on table, brim up. Extends both hands over hat. Tugs back sleeves, exposing wrists, snaps fingers, reaches in, extracts a rabbit. Applause. Pinches rabbit into wings, snaps fingers over hat again. Reaches in, extracts a dove. Applause. Pitches dove into wings, snaps finger over hat, reaches in, extracts another rabbit. No applause. Stuffs rabbit hurriedly back into hat, snaps fingers, reaches in, extracts another hat, precisely like the one from which it came. Applause. Places second hat along first one, snaps fingers over the new hat, withdraws a third hat exactly like the first two. Light applause. Snaps fingers over third hat, withdraws a fourth hat, again identical, no applause, does not snap fingers, peers into fourth hat, extracts a fifth one, in fifth he finds a sixth, rabbit appears in third hat, magician extracts seventh hat from sixth, third hat rabbit withdraws a second rabbit from first hat, magician withdraws eighth hat from seventh, ninth from eighth, as rabbits extract other rabbits from other hats. Rabbits and hats are everywhere. Stage is one mad turmoil of hats and rabbits. Laughter and applause. Frantically, magician gathers up hats and stuffs them into each other, bowing, smiling at audience, pitching rabbits 3 and 4 at a time into wings, smiling, bowing. It is a desperate struggle. At first it is difficult to be sure he is stuffing hats and pitching rabbits faster than they are reappearing. Bows, stuffs, pitches, smiles, perspires. Laughter mounts. Slowly, the confusion diminishes. Now there is one small pile of hats and rabbits. Now there are no rabbits. At last there are only 2 hats. Magician, perspiring from over-exertion, gasping for breath, staggers to table with 2 hats. Light applause. Laughter. Magician, moping brow with silk handkerchief, stares in perplexity at 2 remaining hats, pockets handkerchief, peers into one hat, then into other, attempts attentively to stuff first into second, but in vain, attempts to fit second hat into first, but also without success, smiles weakly at audience, no applause, drops first hat to floor, leaps on it until crushed, wads crushed hat into fist, attempts once more to stuff it into second hat. Still, it will not fit. Light booing, impatient applause. Trembling with anxiety, magician presses out first hat, places it brim up on table, crushes second hat on the floor, wads second hat, tries desperately to jam it into the first hat. No, it will not fit. Turns irritably to pinch second hat into wings. Loud booing. Freezes, pales, returns to table with both hats. First in fair condition, brim up. Second, still in crumpled wad. Faces hat in defeat. Bows head as though to weep silently, hissing and booing. Smile suddenly lights magician's face. He smooths out second hat and places it firmly on his head, leaving first hat bottom-side up on the table. Crawls up on table and disappears, feet first into hat. Surprised applause. Moments later, magician's feet poke up out of the hat on table. Then legs, then torso. Last part to emerge is magician's head, which when lifted from table brings first hat with it. Magician doffs first hat to audience, shows it is empty. Second hat has disappeared, bows deeply. Enthusiastic and prolonged applause. Cheers. Magician returns hat to head, thumps it, steps behind table. Without removing hat, reaches up, snaps finger, extracts hat, rabbit from top of the hat. Applause. Pitches rabbit into wings, snaps fingers, withdraws dove from top of hat. Sprinkling of applause. Pitches dove into wings, snaps fingers, extracts lovely assistant from top of hat. Astonished but enthusiastic applause and whistles. Lovely assistant wears high feathery green hat, tight green halter, little green shorts, black net stockings, high green heels, smiles coyly, and at whistles and applause, scampers bouncily off stage, whistling and a shouting applause. Magician attempts to remove hat, but it appears to be stuck. Twists and withers and struggle with the stuck hat. Mild laughter. Struggle continues. Contortions, grimaces, laughter. Finally, magician requests 2 volunteers from the audience. 2 large brawny men enter stage from audience, smiling awkwardly. One large man grasps hat. Other clutches magician's leg. They pull cautiously. The hat does not come off. They pull harder. Still it is stuck. They tug now with great effort, their heavy faces reddening, their thick neck muscles taut and throbbing. The magician's neck stretches, snaps in two. Pop! Large men tumble apart, rolling to opposite sides of the stage, one with body, other with hat containing magician's severed head. Screams of terror. 2 large men stare aghast at handiwork, clutch mouths. Shrieks and screams. Decapitated body stands. Shrieks and screams. Zipper in front of decapitated body opens. Magician emerges. He is as before, wearing same black cape and same black silk hat. Pitches deflated, decapitated body into wings. Pitches hat and head into wings. 2 large men sigh with immense relief, shake heads as though completely baffled, smile faintly, return to audience. Magician doffs hat and bows. Wild applause, shouts, cheers. Lovely assistant, still in green costume, enters carrying glass of water. Applause and whistling. Lovely assistant acknowledges whistling with coy smile, sets glass of water on table, stands dutifully by it. Magician hands her his hat, orders her by gesture to eat it. Whistling continues. Lovely assistant smiles, bites into hat, chews slowly. Laughter and much whistling. She washes down each bite of hat with water from glass she has brought in. Hat at last is entirely consumed, except for narrow silk band left on table. Sighs, pats, slender exposed tummy. Laughter and applause, excited whistling. Magician invites young country boy in audience to come to stage. Young country boy steps forward shyly, stumbling clumsily over her own big feet. Appears confused and utterly abashed. Loud laughter and catcalls. Young country boy stands with one foot on top of other, staring down red-faced at his hands, twisting nervously in front of him. Laughter and catcalls increased. Lovely assistant sidles up to boy, embraces him in motherly fashion. Boy ducks his head away, steps first on one foot, then on other, wrings hands, more laughter and catcalls, whistles. Lovely assistant winks broadly at audience, kisses young country boy on cheek. Boy jumps as though scalded, trips over own feet, and falls to floor. Thundering laughter. Lovely assistant helps boy to his feet, lifting him under armpits. Boy, ticklish, struggles and giggles helplessly. Laughter, as before. Magician raps table with knuckles. Lovely assistant releases hysterical country boy, returns smiling to table. Boy resumes awkward stance, wipes his runny nose with back of his hand, sniffles. Mild laughter and applause. Magician's hands, lovely assistant, narrow silk band of hat she has eaten. She stuffs band into her mouth, chews thoughtfully, swallows with some difficulty, shudders. She drinks from glass. Laughter and shouting have fallen away to expectant hush. Magician grasps nape of lovely assistant's neck, forces her head with its feathered hat down between her stocking knees. He releases grip and her head springs back to upright position. Magician repeats action slowly, then repeats action rapidly 4 or 5 times. Looks inquiringly at lovely assistant. Her face is flushed from exertion. She meditates, then shakes head no. Magician again forces her head to her knees. Releases grip, allowing head to snap back to upright position. Repeats this 2 or 3 times. Looks inquiringly at lovely assistant. She smiles and nods. Magician drags abashed young country boy over behind lovely assistant and invites him to reach into lovely assistant's tight green shorts. Young country boy is flustered beyond belief. Loud laughter and whistling resumes. Young country boy, in desperation, tries to escape. Magician captures him and drags him once more behind lovely assistant. Laughter, etc., as before. Magician grasps country boy's arm and thrusts it forcibly into lovely assistant's shorts. Young country boy wets pants. Hysterical laughter and catcalls. Lovely assistant grimaces once. Magician, smiling, releases grip on antagonizingly embarrassed country boy. Boy withdraws hands. In it, he finds he is holding magician's original black silk hat, entirely whole, narrow silk band and all. Wild applause and foot stamping, laughter and cheers. Magician winks broadly at audience, silencing them momentarily, invites young country boy to don hat. Boy ducks head shyly. Magician insists, timidly grinning foolishly. Laughter, applause, wild catcalls. Young country boy, utterly humiliated, drops hat and turns to run off stage, but lovely assistant is standing on his foot. He trips and falls to his face. Laughter, etc., as before. Country boy crawls abjectly off stage on his stomach. Magician, laughing heartily with audience, pitches lovely assistant into wings. Picks up hat from floor, brushes hat on sleeve, thumps it 2 or 3 times, returns it with elegant flourish to his head. Appreciative applause. Magician steps behind table, carefully brushes off one space on table, blows away dust, reaches for hat, but again it seems to be stuck. Struggles feverishly with hat. Mild laughter. Request volunteers. Same 2 large men as before enter. One quickly grasps hat. Other grasp magician's legs. They tug furiously, but in vain. Laughter and applause. First large man grabs magician's head under jaw. Magician appears to be protesting. Second large man wraps magician's legs around his waist. Both pull apart with terrific strain, their faces reddening, the veins in their temples throbbing. Magician's tongue protrudes, hands flutter hopelessly. Laughter and applause. Magician's neck stretches, but it does not snap. It is now several feet long. 2 large men strain mightily. Laughter and applause. Magician's eyes pop like bubbles from their sockets. Laughter and applause. Neck snaps at last. Large men tumble head over heels with respective bloody burdens to opposite sides of stage. Expectant, amused hush falls over audience. First large man scrambles to his feet, pinches head and hat into wings, rushes to assist second large man. Together they unzipped decapitated body. Lovely assistant emerges. Surprised laughter and enthusiastic applauding, whistling. Lovely assistant pitches deflated decapitated body into wings. Large men ogle her and make mildly obscene gestures for audience. Mounting laughter and friendly catcalls. Lovely assistant invites one of 2 large men to reach inside her tight green shorts. Wild whistling. Both large men jump forward eagerly, tripping over each other and tumbling to floor in angry heap. Lovely assistant winks broadly at audience. Derisive catcalls. Both men stand, face each other, furious. First large man spits at second. Second pushes first. First returns push, toppling second to floor. Second leaps to feet, smashes first in nose. First reels, wipes blood from nose. Drives fist into second's abdomen. Loud cheers. Second weaves confusedly, crumples miserably to floor, clutching abdomen. First kick, second brutally in face. Cheers and mild laughter. Second staggers blindly to feet. Face a mutilated mess. First smashes second back against wall, knees him in groin. Second doubles over, blinded with pain. First clips second with heel of hand behind ear. Second crumples to floor, dead. Prolonged cheering and applause. First large man acknowledges applause with self-conscious bow, flexes knuckles. Lovely assistant approaches first large man, embraces him in motherly fashion, winks broadly at audience. Prolonged applause and whistling. Large man grins and embraces lovely assistant in unmotherly fashion as she makes faces of mock astonishment for audience. Shouting and laughter, wild whistling. Lovely assistant frees self from large man, turns plump hindquarters to him and bends over, her hands on her knees, her sharp, shapely legs straight. Large man grins at audience, pats lovely assistant's green clad rear, wild shouting, etc. as before. Large man reaches inside lovely assistant's tight green shorts, rolls his eyes, and grins obscenely. She grimaces and wiggles rear briefly, wild shouting, etc., as before. Large man withdraws hand from inside lovely assistant's shorts, extracting magician in black cape and black silk hat. Thunder of astonished applause. Magician bows deeply, doffing hat to audience. Prolonged enthusiastic applause, cheering. Magician pitches lovely assistant and first large man into wings, inspects second large man, lying dead on stage, unzips him, and young country boy emerges, flushed and embarrassed. Young country boy creeps abjectly off stage on stomach. Laughter and catcalls, more applause. Magician pitches deflated course of second large man into wings, lovely assistant re-enters, smiling, dressed as before in high feathery hat, tight green halter, green shorts, net stockings, high heels. Applause and whistling. Magician displays inside of hat to audience, has lovely assistant points to magician. He thumps hat 2 or 3 times, it is empty, places hat on table, and invites lovely assistant to enter it. She does so. Vigorous applause. Once she has entirely disappeared, magician extends both hands over hat, tugs back sleeves, exposing wrists, snaps fingers, reaches in, extracts one green high-heeled shoe. Applause. Pitches shoe into wings, snaps fingers over hat again, reaches in, withdraws the second shoe. Applause. Pitches shoe into wings, snaps finger over hat, reaches in, withdraws one long net stocking. Applause and scattered whistling. Pitches stocking into wings, snaps finger over hat, reaches in, extracts a second black net stocking. Applause and scattered whistling. Pitches stockings into wings, snaps finger over hat, reaches in, pulls out high feathery hat. Increased applause and whistling, rhythmic stamping of feet. Pitches hat into wings, snaps fingers over hat, reaches in, fumbles briefly, light laughter. Withdraws green halter, displays it with grand flourish. Enthusiastic applause, shouting, whistling, stamping of feet. Pitches halter into wings, snaps fingers over hat, reaches in, fumbles, distant, absorbed gaze, burst of laughter, withdraws green shorts, displays them with elegant flourish, tremendous crash of applause and cheering, whistling. Pitches green shorts into wings, snaps fingers over hat, reaches in, prolonged fumbling, sound of a slap, withdraws hand hastily, a look of astonished pain on his face, peers inside, laughter. Head of lovely assistant pops out of hat, pouting indignantly. Laughter and applause. With difficulty, she extracts one arm from hat, then other arm. Pressing hands down against the hat brim, she wiggles and twists until one naked breast pops out of hat. Applause and wild whistling. The other breast. Pop! More applause and whistling. She wriggles free to the waist. She grunts and struggles, but is unable to free her hips. She looks pathetically, but uncertainly at magician. He tugs and pulls, but she seems firmly stuck. Laughter. He grasps lovely assistant under armpits and plants feet against hat brim. Strains in vain. Laughter. Thrusts lovely assistant forcibly back into hat. Fumbles again. Loud slap. Laughter increases. Magician returns slap soundly. Laughter ceases abruptly. Some scattered booing. Magician reaches into hat, withdraws one unstockinged leg. He reaches in again, pulls out one arm. He tugs on arm and leg, but for all his effort, cannot extract the remainder. Scattered booing. Some whistling. Magician glances uneasily at audience, stuffs arm and leg back into hat. He is perspiring. Fumbles inside hat, withdraws nude hindquarters of lovely assistant. Burst of cheers and wild whistling. Smiles uncomfortably at audience. Tugs desperately on plump hindquarters, but rest will not follow. Whistling diminishes. Increased booing. Jams hindquarters back into hat. Mops brow with silk handkerchief. Loud, unfriendly booing. Pockets handkerchief. It becomes rather frantic. Grasps hat and thumps it vigorously. Shakes it. Places it once more on the table. Brim up, closes eyes as though in incantations, hands extended over hat, snaps fingers several times, reaches in tenaciously, fumbles, loud slap, withdraws hand hastily in angry astonishment, grasps hat, gritting teeth, infuriated, hurls hat to the floor, leaps on it with both feet, something crunches, hideous, piercing shrieks, screams, and shouts. Magician aghast, picks up hat, stares into it, pales, violent screaming and shouting. Magician gingerly sets hat on floor and kneels, utterly appalled and grief-stricken, in front of it, weeps silently, weeping, moaning, shouting. Magician huddles miserably over crushed hat, weeping convulsively. First large man and young country boy enter timidly, soberly from wings. They are pale and frightened. They peer uneasily into hat. They start back in horror. They clutch their mouths, turn away, and vomit. Weeping, shouting, vomiting, accusations of murder. Large man and country boy tie up magician, drag him away. Weeping, retching. Large man and country boy return, lift crushed hat gingerly, and trembling uncontrollably, carry it at arm's length into wings. Momentary increase of weeping, retching, moaning, then dying away of sound to silence. Country boy creeps onto stage alone, sets up place card against table and facing audience, then creeps abjectly away. The act is concluded. The management regrets there will be no refund.